Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we'll be reviewing a movie that came out this year. Would you say...
January, I think.
Yeah, January, we think.
January, February, yeah.
Called Knock at the Cabin, which was released in 2023.
Well, actually, here it is. It was released in the United States in the beginning of February, but I think it's over the last day of January and stuff, different things. So, yeah, right at the end of January, beginning of February. There you go.
True.
Cool. There you go.
Yeah, and it's sort of a thriller.
No, it's not.
A mystery.
Hey, do you want me to say it?
You might as well say it, Mike.
It's an apocalyptic psychological horror film. How's that, grab it? That's a mouthful.
Yeah, but I also think there's mystery in it too.
Oh, I don't know. Mystery, no, not necessarily, but a lot of suspense and not knowing what's going to happen next time.
Exactly.
The next reel.
Well, it does have mystery, considering the fact the plot itself. I won't mention it yet.
That's the suspense part. Why are these people here?
Yeah.
It's building up. Are they telling the truth?
Yeah.
Are they lying?
Yeah, the director who directed and scripted is none other than, what's his name?
M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I have trouble getting my mouth around his name.
You may know him as the guy who did Old and that other movie called The Village.
Yes.
And that, let me see, he did The Sixth Sense, as I mentioned.
Yeah, what's the early ones? Yeah,
a number of other movies that deal with either supernatural or mystery or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, he actually directed this. He wrote the screenplay along with Steve Desmond and Michael Sherman. It was based on a book called The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. Production by Mr. Samalian, Mark Beanstalk, and Ashwin Rajan.
Yeah, you heard us mention once before, guys, that we think that Mr. M. Knight.
Well, Mr. Knight,
Mr. Knight has something going for him with his writing and his direction in this movie.
He doesn't stick to the standard sort of stuff.
Yeah.
He's a little bit left of field, which is good. That's something a bit different, which is great.
Left field doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing.
He doesn't do formula.
Yeah.
He just, hey, I've got an idea for a story. Let's bung it out.
Standalone, whatever. Yeah. He doesn't do sequels or prequels or prequels.
No, he doesn't stick to formula. He just says, hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to do this movie, it's refreshing. Yeah, how's that?
Yeah.
Now, let's get on to a little bit of stuff here. I've said a bit about directors and stuff. But now, I like the money side of things, don't you all, folks? Now, budget was about 20 mil. Box office was about 54. But remember, this is only released earlier this year, and these figures may well have gone up since then, and it's only just hitting the domestic market as well. So home media could send it up a lot further as well.
Yeah.
So, but the box office at the time of our talking now, about 54. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think this takes the whole cabin in the woods to a new level.
Cabin in the woods sort of thingy, but different.
Yeah, instead of the usual
hillbillies or
supernatural or slasher killers coming out of the woods, this is dealing with something different.
Totally different. Yeah. Anything you want to talk about before we get into it?
How about the actors?
I didn't do the actors yet. Okay. Those people. No.
See, it was just talked about the budget side, and usually we start with the directorship, the writership, and the budget, and now we talk about the actors.
Well, here we go. Okay, right. Yeah. It's only a handful. He keeps it nice and tight with the acting too. Okay, Dave Bautista plays Leonard Brock. He's the leader of a group of people. Jonathan Groff as Eric. He's one of the
fathers.
fathers. Well, I don't want to say too much about it all. Ben Aldridge is Andrew, the other guy.
Yeah, father.
Nikki Amuka-Bird plays Sabrina, which is one of the group of people who come to the cabin. Rupert Grint, we know Rupert from Harry Potter. He's actually...
all grown up.
He's grown up now. He's got a beard. He plays a guy called Redmond. Abby Quinn plays Adrian. So he's one of the people who come to the cabin. A young lady or young girl called Kristen... I don't know how to say her last name. It's C-U-I. Huey as Wen, W-E-N. And Mr. Shalman,
Mr. Knight.
He has a bit of a cameo in it on an infomercial.
Yeah, like I've mentioned in the past, Mr. Knight, he's gone for an Alfred Hitchcock look to his film career, where he adds himself as a bit of a cameo, no matter how small, to appear in the movies.
He was in Old, wasn't he?
He was in Old.
He played the guy who took the people to the beach. Yeah.
And he was in the Village. He appears as a bit of a voice cameo in that. I don't know how many of his movies he did make a cameo in this one.
He does a bit. He likes to keep up close and personal with the film.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
You'll be able to notice him right off the bat because his features are... not too much change, too much.
Yeah, he looks the same.
He has curly black hair, dark skin, nothing. Well,
swarthy skin.
Swarthy skin, I should say. Not being rude.
No, just not black, like but he's got that. Yeah, Indian sounds like Indian. So Indian heritage maybe. Yeah. Anyway, irrespective. Do you want to get into telling the story?
Yes, might as well. So the story begins. Winnie, the the girl who lives with her two fathers. And
it's a same-sex relationship, but there's nothing.
There's nothing wrong with it. No, there's no kissing.
Actually, there's one good thing about this one. It is they stuck to the story. They didn't throw extra padding in. Oh, let's have a ubiquitous sex scene or something else. Or something. Yeah. No, they just got straight into a story, which is refreshing for a change. That's what I mean. He doesn't get into this formula stuff. Yeah.
So anyway, she's in the woods collecting crickets to study for grasshoppers. Sorry,
crickets.
I'm sorry. I'm Australian.
You know the difference?
No, we don't.
A grasshopper is a different thing altogether.
Anyway, so she's collecting grasshoppers, and there a man named Leon. Leonard appears and he talks to her, and
very nice, chunky guy.
Very nice. He's used to talking to children, especially at this level. He's a school teacher, and he says that him and his friends we don't see yet.
They're out in the woods, coming towards them.
Are on a bit of a mission of sorts, and when he says to her to tell the dads not to run or try to hide, or because they'll break into the house.
He needs to talk to them.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Wynn quickly runs to her two dads and gets them inside, and she quickly tells them that these people are coming and they've got weapons.
And the reason is they need them to save the world.
Yeah. They quickly lock up the house, but they soon enough break into the house.
Yeah, easily. It was a wooden house with glass windows.
Knock one of the fathers out, and eventually both men are tied to chairs, and they begin trying to explain to them that if they do not get one of them to kill the other, the whole world will end or something.
I'll explain it a bit easier. These people have been warned in prophetic dreams about the coming of the end of the world, and the only way to stop it is for one of these guys to kill the other one.
Yes.
They can't take their own life, and this group of people can't kill them. It has to be a voluntary sacrifice.
Yeah.
So not
sounds a little bit like Cabin in the Woods.
Please kill me, and your friend will have to kill you.
Sounds like something out of Cabin in the Woods, guys.
A bit like that, yeah.
A bit like that.
So that's about it.
Yeah. So they don't act aggressive. They don't use their weapons to fret them. No axe to foot or anything like that, or chopping their fingers off one by one.
Nothing. They're trying to appeal to them to do what they need to do.
Yeah. Each time they continue refusing their whatever. One of them, that's Rupert's character, he gets on his knees, puts a hood over his head, and all three of the other group members kind of slice their axes into his head.
Yeah, and the first stage of the apocalypse starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Earthquake? No, tsunamis.
A tsunami.
Yeah, tsunamis. Major ones, humongous ones.
Yeah.
In different, on the east coast or west coast.
Yeah.
West Coast America or somewhere.
Yeah, there was a bit of stock footage and a bit of real stuff. I mean, not real stuff, CGI stuff.
or whatever, yeah. And so they brought that in and say, and the group say, it was your decision. Mm-hmm. You made this happen. And one of the fathers there is saying, it's rubbish because you knew this was going to happen because this is the news on the TV they're watching is recorded and it could have been done earlier and they knew it was going to happen already.
They could have been programming this stuff into their TV set.
So he didn't believe him. He's
a lawyer or something. He seems to know.
Lawyers don't believe anything.
Anyway, we do get flashbacks to Eric and Andrew's past here and there, like ones we're dealing with the like his parents, one of their parents visiting them, and it doesn't look like they're happy about their relationship, which is common to some people who can't accept same-sex relationships. Anyway, they also arrange with getting their daughter adopted, of course.
Yes.
And of course, they did it under false pretenses, making out that one of them is a father and the wife was absent.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay, get over it, will you?
Anyway, they do get into some other bits of memory, like how they get into a fight at a bar of sorts.
And actually, the guy who picked the fight was actually the guy who came with the group who'd just been executed. Mm-hmm. The guy who was called Redmond was also his name was really O'Banion, was it? No, O'Bannon, something.
Bannon something.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Anyway, they start to get to know their kidnappers. The people who just came here. One of them is Sabrina, who's a registered nurse, I think, and there is what's her name? Adrian, who's a single mother who works at a restaurant and has a child of her own.
One child, little boy,
one little son. And the guy, the head guy is.
He's a school teacher.
He's a school teacher.
A primary school or something? He got lots of little kids and he trains them in sport and everything.
He shows them a photo of the kids and they look like roughly Wen's age, obviously, maybe.
Yeah, primary school children.
Meaning he's used to educating kids at that level, obviously. So anyway, they continue to say no, they won't do this. And then the next person to go, I think it was Adrian, I think it was.
Whatever.
Yeah, she gets her head lopped off and killed off screen.
Yeah, she was the next one. Yeah.
Anyway, Wynn tries to escape them. She tries to hide in the woods, but eventually she gets pulled back. And one of her father defends her by saying to them that it was not her fault. It was our idea to allow her to escape and try to get away. Of course, they don't punish the parents or punish Wynn, obviously. They just...
You're not here to punish anybody or hurt anybody.
Yeah, we don't see that.
And that's why these people say, it's not a home invasion.
No, it's not.
It looks like it, but it's not.
It looks like it. They tie them to a chair. They're holding long weapons.
Yeah, but they only hold the time on a chair so they don't try to escape. They need to talk to them.
Yeah.
So,
so you guys know, these four individuals, they met in a chat room and discussed their dreams in the group.
And they were having the same dream. Mm-hmm. They mentioned a meeting on the boardwalk.
They did.
Is that something else, is it?
Yeah, something about they met on the day they arranged to meet at a boardwalk, and there they all head to this cabin that they were told to in their dreams, their visions, to tell them.
Yeah, and they knew these people were going to be here at the cabin.
They said, I think it was Adrian who said that they didn't know who was going to be at the cabin, but they were told to go to this cabin and to get them to get one of them to sacrifice the other, obviously.
Yeah. But willingly.
Willingly, obviously.
Both of them have to agree to it, sort of like, I'm going to kill you because to save the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, of course, after Adrian's death, we do see more apocalyptic stuff happening. Obviously.
What was the next bit? We had.
I think it next.
First of all, the mega tsunamis. What was
I
the next
think
bit?
it would have been a bit of a plague or a virus that was going around. I think
something really, really bad. It broke out about 3 or 4 major places and spreading like wildfire, and it was killing. It's only killing young people, was it mainly?
Killing children.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of sad when you think about it. And I think both Eric and Andrew, I think they're both worried about their daughter, but at the same time, the lawyer one keeps on saying that he doesn't care about the world.
He only cares about him.
He only cares about him and his partner and his daughter. Yeah. He doesn't care about the rest of the world.
But the leader of the group, the group trying to talk to him says, "But if you don't do anything, there won't be anything left. It'll just be you and your partner and your daughter roaming the earth by yourself." Yeah. He says, "I don't care." That's a nice attitude, isn't it?
I don't think that's the type of attitude I want to do. Anyway, so they eventually, Wynn tries to... She distracts the two people, and that allows one of the fathers to get out of his chair and was able to go across the room to get to the car outside to get his gun. He got a gun after the incident at the bar. He had went on a bit of a trying to protective kit where he was just going to the boxing matches. Practicing boxing, and gets a weapon and trained himself to become strong for his family, obviously to protect them. So that sort of thing. So anyway, he has his gun and he's about to. He tries to. He gets his leg injured because of the Sabrina, I think her name was. Yeah, she keeps on going on about they have to go back inside and treat his wounds and stuff like that. She has treated his brother. Yeah, his partner's wound, the back of his head.
The back of his head we're hurting on.
Yeah, his partner also mentioned that he did witness something in the mirror, some kind of dark figure that was looming behind them when one of the persons was dead.
And his partner's, you imagine it because he got concussion.
Something like that. Anyway, so he orders Sabrina back inside because he's got a gun, and he wants to demand the truth. Of course, Sabrina runs off into the woods, and she does come back, and he shoots her, and she dies, and then we see...
Lena lops her head off.
Yeah. Eric then clicks on the TV, and we see...
All these aeroplanes
falling out of the sky, crashing into different
one of the prophecies was something about the sky was going to fall or something or other.
Something's about to fall. Yeah. Anyway, he also, at this point in this story, we see him mimic, or would say, the same dialogue from the newscaster. Word by word.
Mouthing the words, or actually saying the words that the newscaster was actually saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Word perfect.
One of the men... He breaks the TV with his gun.
He shoots it,
Yeah, and he continues to think that this was all, that he's all part of a terrorist group or hate group that have made this that's transmitted this news footage into their television set.
Yeah.
How, I don't know. And how, he even says, how can you know what exactly the words they said in this scene, considering it was actually Eric who turned on the television set at that exact time.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, they then walk outside, and he tells them about himself and how a little bit, and he takes out a knife from his, I think it was from his
He goes and sits down in the chair.
Yeah.
And he talks to him, and he gets out a knife, and he says, if you don't do anything, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And he promptly picks up the knife and slashes his throat.
Yeah, he slashed himself throat, and we see in the sky it's getting dark and black.
Yeah, and lightning starts going, and really bad lightning.
And we see planes falling.
More planes flying out
of the sky in falling to the ground.
And lightning striking and starting fires all over the place. And
Winnie is off somewhere in the woods, in the treehouse, that her father's told her to hide there until they collect her.
Now, at this point, Eric starts to think, oh my goodness.
Well, this is real.
I think it is real. These people weren't lying after all.
Yeah, and he wants to do the sacrifice. Like, he feels like that if they don't do this, their daughter's life will be... Well, she just won't have a life, technically.
And here's something. They sort of come to a realisation that these four people represented the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah, a different twist on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Eric wants to make the sacrifice, even though Andrew doesn't want this to do this to his own partner. So but they do discuss it, and they come to the realisation that they love each other, and they're willing.
Eric's prepared to sacrifice his life if Eric does the right thing and looks after Wen and makes a good father figure for her.
Yeah, so we do see. I think it was either a vision of the future of when all grown up and with one of her fathers, and I think it was Andrew, and they're walking out to the car talking
and happy and smiley and everything's normal. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so we hear a gunshot, and then Andrew approaches the treehouse and he embraces his daughter, and soon enough, the cabin itself gets burnt to a cinder.
Must have got struck by lightning. Don't know. We didn't see it actually happen, but it got burnt. Yeah.
They go to they travel down the road for a bit.
Yeah. Lightning strikes, set the cabin on fire. Yeah.
They go down the road a bit, and we do see the truck the four individuals came in.
Yeah, and they had their own personal effects in it. Later on, they stop off to get some gas and some food and whatever.
And to get possibly a news to the next news possible television set to figure out if all the events that just happened...
And they were happening, and they said that remarkably they stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah, some of the planes have landed safely.
Yeah. And
the fires and the things have calmed down, although there are still a few teeny-weeny fires that need to be put out in a natural way.
And obviously, the epidemic was happening and different things, that's slowing down. But the funny thing is, then he goes into the personal effects that were left in that truck that belonged to the people who were dead, and he found out they were all telling the truth. He wasn't. His lead guy, Leonard, was a school teacher, and
Sabrina was a nurse,
and the other one was a waitress or something rather.
With a child. And the other guy that we mentioned at the beginning, he was the guy who attacked both him and his partner at a bar somewhere.
But it wasn't. He wasn't there for that reason, so he realised the four of them were touched by the same prophecy.
Yeah. Anyway, now both him and Wynn are about to head off to home or wherever, and they played the same music that they were all singing to at the beginning. Boogie
Shoes by KC and the Sunshine Band.
And at first they turn it off a couple times because they feel a little bit gloomed that Eric is not among them.
They want to remember him, so they put it on again and started listening to it.
So they play the music and they drive off into the sunset or sunrise. Who knows? Who cares?
I don't know.
And then the credits start to roll and we fade out. And we watch the credits as they go. We see illustrations appear on the credits and a bit of... layering upon layering of different things in the background of the text. It was pretty kind of cool when you think about it. Quite different from most stuff when I've seen it. Anyway, so that's Knock at the Cabin movie, obviously.
Anyway.
So, what did you think of it, Mike?
Well, it's definitely different.
It is different.
Which is, I like different. Mm-hmm. I'm not knocking the usual mainstream movies that come out, but I've mentioned before about a lot of them stick to a formula, and you can almost predict what's going to happen in the next scene. This one here, you don't.
No. I used to thought they were going to probably pelt them with those weapons, like maybe chop off a finger or chop off a thumb, or get them or dislocate their kneecaps, preventing them to leave or escape.
Yeah.
Or something creepy like that, but I didn't.
Yeah. Anyway.
Go on, Mike.
Yeah, I know. It's just every time this guy, Mr. Shyamalan, gets involved in a project, he really inspires me. There's just something. I'm not going to say he's a George Lucas or a Steven Spielberg or somebody or a Cecil B. DeMille, but there's something in his work.
Yeah.
And it's always worth a look.
Yeah.
And it's always good value for money. Whether the critics like it or whether the paying public like it, he has a knack for storytelling. How's that? That's
I would agree with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he took a story that sounds like something that either Stephen King or his son would make, and just put a good spin on it for audiences.
Yeah.
Even though the audiences like it, but the critiquers don't like it. I don't know why.
Yeah. But anyway,
Go on, Mike.
This was not the original script. It had before Mr. Shyamalan. Oh, I call him Mr. Knight.
Just call him Knight, like I do.
Before Knight came onto the scene, another script had been written, and he rewrote the script.
Really?
Yeah. He read the original screenplay. He grew interested in producing it. And he rewrote the script, and he came on board to direct the project as part of a 2-film partnership between Universal Pictures and his production banner, Blinding Edge Pictures. So Old was the first film of the deal we mentioned before. Yeah. But anyway, he got he got his fingers on it, and he put the old Mr. Knight, the Knight magic in there, and we got a good movie out of it. Now, how do I put it? It had an R rating. I don't normally mention ratings, but because it had a bit of the violence and the language, there was a bit of stuff. But if you can handle that, it's not a big problem.
This is probably the second R-rated film after The Happening, which was done in 2008, and also is the first film to be rated for language alongside violence, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, excuse me. I've had a long day today, so we went out doing a film shoot type thing for a documentary.
Go on,
anyway, what I was going to say is that, I mean, every time he gets involved, he does something good. Now, these sort of guys don't always hit the right buttons for the critics. Critics.
You asked Mike before about when he redrafted the script.
Yeah.
Actually, I found some interesting information here. Yeah. Both the script drafters by Stephen Desmond and Michael Sherman was voted onto the 2019 blacklist as one of the most popular unproduced screenplays of the year.
Yes. Steve Desmond and Michael Sherman.
Yeah, Steve Desmond.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were probably the ones that were trying to write that script you mentioned, but and that's why Mr. Knight decided to put his own spin on the story a bit better than that.
Maybe the script wasn't good enough, strong enough for anyone to get their teeth into, but he did his bit. He read it. He said, "Well, I like this. I can fix it up." Mm-hmm. He did. Whatever. I did box office. Well, get back to critiques. I mean, critics, more often than not, will not like a movie because it's personal. I don't particularly like this sort of movie, so I'm going to rubbish it. I'm going to pick it apart. Yeah, I try not to do that. I try to look at it objectively. Is that word? Yeah. I don't know why these guys can't do the same thing. But they're all to criticise is not actually mean to be nasty and horrible. It's to do a critique. Whether it's going to be positive or negative is up to the person doing the critique. They seem to more often than not, want to pick it apart. And that's what I don't like about some of these reviewers. Now, I will mention a couple of things here. Rotten Tomatoes had an approval rating of 67%, based on 319 reviews, not 3 reviews, not one person sitting in the newspaper office or a magazine office saying, I don't like it. Okay, so 390 people. Yeah, okay. Their general consensus is, although it's often less than scary and parts of the story don't bear scrutiny, Knock at the Cabin is a thought-provoking chiller and up-tier Shyamalan. Metacritic, which uses the weighted average, assigned the film 63 out of 100, based on 63 critiques. Whatever. Cinema Score gave this film a C on a A+ to F scale. Post-Track gave it a 56.
Okay.
Whatever. I won't go into all the other ones, but some of them said good things about it, and a couple of critiques didn't like it because I don't think they like that sort of movie, so they're not going to say anything good about it. So
they probably were expecting a home invasion type movie, just like everyone else.
Oh no, they pick it apart.
Thought this would be one that deals with blow by blow attacks on the couple, obviously, and it would just be, it would just rip into other it will just rip into a lot of people when you think about it. If they did do it that way, ripping into the fact to a same-sex couple, and it's not really a nice thing to think about when you think about it. Anyway, I think the film critiquers failed to understand the message in this movie when you think about it. Would you say, Mike?
Yeah, and well, here's a good bit. Okay, here's something. Let's try to clear my throat. Now, Reddy said he cut film critic and Miller embrace the movie's faults.
Okay.
By saying this is an exceptionally made thriller with satisfying flaws to pick at and debate. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So he's saying it has problems, but it's an interesting movie. Okay. And you get that sort of thing. It's one of those things where the critics got to try to get their head around, like we have to, and you would if you want to watch it. So, it's just one of those movies. I mean, this guy does not do a standard movie, so it's outside the box. Okay, he got his own box, and some people can't handle that. It's like an independent. It's a bit like an independent. He comes in from a different point of view, and that's what throws some people off.
Yeah. And not speaking biblically or biblically, whatever.
Biblically, yeah.
I mean, this movie has a little bit of symbolism here. With the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, here's some interesting information I found out. The first horseman, the Conquest, rides a white horse, and the leader of the group, what's his name? Leonard. He wore a white shirt and was the leader of the 4.
Yeah.
The second horseman rides a red horse, and that guy Rupert was wearing a red
and his
shirt.
Nickname is going by the name of Red Man. Very good.
And,
very smart.
And was aggressive, obviously. The third is them, whatever that means, on a black horse, and that's Audrey wore dark clothing and a bad passive and nervous personality, obviously.
Yeah.
The last horseman is Death on a pale horse, and Sabrina wore a yellow blouse and was just depressed, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
So they kind of sported different personalities
they tried to bring it
the
in.
horsemen
I
of
can see sort
apocalypse.
of, a bit of it.
So, in a sense, they were trying to emulate the personalities to those said horsemen, obviously.
Yeah, possibly. But
Even though I never read that part of the Bible about the four horsemen.
Too many people read that bit and try to put too much into it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to
at
understand
least
it.
the writer who wrote the novel, he probably read a little bit into it and just thought he would just create a story centered around that sort of thing, using a home invasion as its sort of...
Well, it's not really a home invasion, but it's like a home invasion, I suppose.
It was, until they just tie them to a chair and just sit and talk to them and get them to see their side of the story, or at least try to.
It's like, actually, when I first got there, knocked on the door, I need to talk to you, and says, I blade Jehovah's Witnesses, or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Lord.
They're on a mission from God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sounds like something else.
Yeah, you can't get rid of them. I'm not knocking the Jehovah's Witnesses. Please, don't get me wrong. They do a good job. But a lot of people get sick of people knocking on the doors, trying to convince them that the end is nigh, sort of thing. Or please convert. Yeah. Honestly, it's a personal thing. But anyway.
I do think that it is an interesting approach, even though some of the reviews don't seem to like it. But I do think it's different. Instead of the usual Evil Dead or other type of cabin-related movies, this one had a different approach on it.
Resident Evil, that had a cabin or a house, and they had the hive
yeah,
underneath
it. The interesting thing about this cabin is it's more... nicer looking than the ones you may have seen in Evil Dead or Cabin in the Woods, which looks more homey, more inviting.
It was very nice. I could live there.
And I could live there myself. It was very pretty, and especially the grounds they
like
live
Secret
in.
Window of Johnny Depp. That was a nice cabin.
Yeah, it was a nice cabin when it was cleaned up.
Well, yeah, before he went crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, it is not a bad movie, I think. It may not be my cup of tea, but it may be to some other audience members who may liked it.
I like it. I mean, I like something different. I don't like the same stuff slung in front of me all the time.
Yeah, if this was pretty much a direct home invasion with psychopaths thinking that they're about to save the world by killing a few unknown people, then I would say snore. I don't think I would like it too much. But adding that sort of supernatural element to it is kind of adds a bit of a different approach to the story. Instead of it gives you the impression, should you believe these four strangers, or should you think that they are just causing a bit of trouble for you?
Trouble's good.
Even though at first they thought they were there to recruit them to become part of their group. Yeah. Of course, it didn't sound like that, because they just want them to make a decision, sort of a decision that will change the rest of humanity if they refuse.
Yeah. Anyway,
although it still baffles me that why those three people had to make that horrible decision.
Because Leonard said the reason why they were chosen, I think he said something like, because their love was pure.
Nice of you.
That's it.
Yeah,
and they had to be pure love involved, and pure love, and the people had to be willing to sacrifice themselves. But you couldn't kill yourself. Your partner had to kill you. A bit like Abraham killing his son.
Yeah, that's true.
Or being asked to kill his son. He said, "I'm going to kill somebody I love." To prove I believe, and blah 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 blah. So
I'm amazed that after that incident, that Isaac still loved his father after that incident. He didn't.
Well, he didn't kill him.
I mean, I would have felt, oh, my dad was trying to kill me. Oh, I should hate him for the rest of my life.
I've never thrown you on the barbecue, have I?
Nope.
There you go. Then stop grumbling. Okay.
But I do think that, I'm not going to say this Bible-y or anything like that, but it does seem like that they were chosen by God because of their struggles. Considering most of the time God would often pick someone or pick particular people out there because of their harsh struggles in life, but at the same time, the fact that they're such good and loyal people to one another.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what you want.
Yeah, and that's why God chose those 4 individuals to seek them out to try to make this difficult decision, which is not many people would either go for because they think it's a difficult decision to live with when you think back.
Exactly. Anyway,
I'm not preaching anymore. So moving on. So let's move on to rating it.
When did you become a preacher?
I don't know.
A couple of months ago?
Probably.
Okay. eBay, plenty for sale, folks. Now, Amazon has some for sale, but there's no rental listed yet. Now, having said that, it's only recently come out, so they may not have set up the rental system yet. Do not know. However, it may be on another streaming site, so have a look for it.
Yeah. If we could find it, guys, no doubt it's somewhere out there.
I'm not going to check every streaming search. I'm not a member of every streaming service. I'm not going to. But I only pick on eBay and Amazon because they are usually accessible for most people, and other people have to sign in and become members and give all the personal details and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and ask for payment.
A lot of people don't do that.
And ask for payment for a year or 5 years or something.
So, I don't do that sort of rubbish, so I don't look in those ones. But, yeah, I do understand there are good streaming services out there, and you may well find it.
Yeah, so that's about it for us all, guys. So let's rate this now, obviously. So how would you rate this, Mike?
Well, surprisingly, I'm going to give it... I'm just going to say with 9, 9.5, 10, that area. I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything I didn't like about it, but I'm just trying to figure out. No, I'm going to give this one a 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give this movie, I'm not going to give it a 10, obviously. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I know that's a little harsh, but... while this movie is pretty interesting, and I like the fact that it is different from other cabin in the wood type movies, and I think if I was more into mysteries and stuff and all that stuff, I would probably give it a higher rating, obviously.
I'm into thinking people's movies.
But I do like the fact that it does give you something to think about, and a little interesting how the individuals later on find out that these people were not lying about their past. Would you say, Mike?
Yeah. Look, it's a movie develops quite well. I think the storyline's pretty damn good. Look, you can pick any storyline apart. You can pick any script apart. You can pick anything apart if you like. But where is a good critique turned into a troll? Somewhere's a fine line. And I think, honestly, this is a good production. It's a good story. It's not an action thriller horror.
Right.
If you're looking for action, there's no action. There's no real action in it. A little bit of, when they're killing a dumb person and stuff. But apart from that, there's no real action. It's more of a drama, horror,
I did think that watching the movie and the trailer, I thought for a little while that the 4 individuals may have set up traps in the woods or used their weapons against these individuals. It would have been an interesting approach.
Would have been interesting, yeah.
It would have added a little bit of more gasoline to the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever the term is.
Yeah, a bit of fuel on the fire.
Yeah, but
now the point is that it is what it is. It's an interesting movie.
Yeah.
But you do not expect to sit there and be entertained by people running around never decreasing circles killing each other. It's not one of those movies.
Yeah. It was interesting to see the backstory between Eric and Andrew, obviously, and their major difficulties, their big problems that society that did to them, which is probably what we all struggle. We all have struggles, and we all care about about our families and partners and stuff like that.
And whatever
and
stuff,
when all said and done, if we were faced with destruction of the world versus our loved ones, and normally we'd often choose our loved ones over the destruction of the world sometimes. And, well, that's it. From what I understand, that will be a very difficult struggle to do when you think about it.
I wouldn't want to be called to make a decision.
It would be a very difficult decision, which is probably why God often does make us ask us to do very big decisions.
Yeah. Anyway.
Never by halves, if there's a word.
Let's move on. Is that all we're
Okay,
gonna do
so
now?
I'm not going to preach anymore. So
No.
anyway, that's about it for us, guys. I wish I had more to say about this movie.
Oh, well, they've had enough, I think.
I mean, I do like the other movies Knight has made. I like Old, and I like...
Old's interesting, if you haven't seen it. Yeah.
One day I might look at looking at The Happening or even the Sixth Sense if I ever watched it again. I think I watched it years ago.
Another one, Bruce Willis, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And made by the people who made Disney movies, obviously. I would distribute them anyway.
Oh, yeah. Buena Vista or something.
Yeah. You guys all know about them, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or the other one, Touchstone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, yeah. I know.
Anyway, that's about it for tonight, guys. So I hope you guys check this movie out wherever its streaming services it is in, wherever it is. You may know where a streaming service it is lying on.
Check your own favourite streaming services first. But I didn't see any on Amazon as at today. But they may actually bring it in. I don't know why it isn't there yet. But,
who knows?
Yeah.
So that's about it for us, folks. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around. And we'll see you for our next podcast on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now.
Bye.